And I think he realised then that my wife really did love me. I'm going to take that smile off your face. I just went slap.
You smeared your blood
I
on it?
smeared the blood on his face. But they look at it and they think I've smashed something on his head.
Hi, welcome back to the Big D with me, Buzzy Randall, and
Ate Jewel.
And this week we have on the sofa with us the most esteemed, we're both completely fangirling, Ruby Hammer MBE.
Whoop,
Welcome.
Whoop, 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 whoop. Now, Ruby and I are beauty fam. I have been obsessed with her for decades. Every time I see Ruby, you don't know it, but I secretly curtsy in my head when I see you. Ruby Hammer, who's had your MBE since 2007.
Yes.
You have done everything in this industry and then some. Co-founder of Ruby and Millie, which for so many millions of us was a game changer, Buzzy.
I literally every single person when I was growing up and into my 20s and 30s, that's all we wanted was, and now, luckily, we can buy Ruby Hammer Beauty.
Yes, and you've done everything like Elle and Vogue and Marie Claire, and the A-list superstars you have worked with are just legendary. But Ruby, you're so kind to come on. We know you as a beauty expert, beauty founder, all-round superstar, and as Husky has said, our producer, drinks from the fountain of youth and is also your number one superstar fan now.
I'm also a woman and a human being.
Yes! How old are you, Ruby?
I'm 63 now and I will be 64 in December.
I mean, you are just,
Unbelievable.
it's unbelievable. You are just, no, it's not unbelievable. This is what a 63-year-old woman looks like. And thank you for being fabulous.
Yeah.
Thank you. But it's life and everyone's journey, and this is mine.
As we all know, the Big D stands for divorce, dating and dalliances. And it's been a while since...
Not dick, as everyone thinks.
and also
I was
Dick.
trying to see what slot I could put myself in.
You got divorced 25 years ago now.
Yes, 2000 is officially, yes, I got my proper degree.
Millennium
Nice.
divorce.
And you are really the poster girl for reinvention and succeeding and thriving and making a positive life after something like a divorce.
And a hot husband.
Can we start at the divorce bit?
Okay, so the thing is, I was married in 1985. I was 23 when I got married.
Baby!
So I literally finished university and then I happened to meet George, my ex-husband now.
And can you tell everyone what you did at university? Because as a Nigerian, you were made to do a proper hardcore Nigerian degree before your arty makeup artistry, which always makes me laugh.
I have an economics degree and it was at City University.
Oh my
so
God.
That's the most Nigerian thing I've ever heard.
Okay,
you want to be a makeup artist?
I
Get
didn't
economics.
become a doctor like my dad would have probably liked, or maybe I liked. I just didn't have that aptitude. So
But very useful in becoming a successful businesswoman.
I think an entrepreneur, which is what I consider myself, and I'm a serial entrepreneur, so I feel that I don't think you learn in a course of MBA and doing this. You either are or you're not. And you need the other stuff. You need the accounting, you need the figures, you need the spreadsheets, you need all of that. But that's not what makes you a successful brand founder or so my economics, I have the wider grasp of it. You either see it or you don't. So the things of spreadsheets, people have to support me on that. I can't look at those things and work it out. I just think, how much did it cost us? What are we going to make? Oh yeah, this one is okay to swallow something. Mm-hmm. No, that one, you cannot go there. We'll never make any money. So that is not, you didn't need to go to university to learn that.
So you had your degree. You were 23.
23.
And how did you meet? And your ex-husband is another beauty icon. Tell us who he is and how you met.
It is good that you mention he's a beauty icon now, but that's not how he started. When I met him, he was in fashion. He was he provided brands for people like Body Map and Joseph and Bergdorf Goodman, and he was in the rag trade, as we call it. So when I met him, he was not in beauty. But he had just started with his partners to own the Sanctuary in Floral Street, you know, the club and fitness centre, which was the showroom for Nautilus and all that.
Yes.
So I met him there, and then by the time we got married, within a year, you know. So
wow.
from first meeting, 10 days short of a year, I'd engaged, married. 25, I had my daughter.
But that was quite the norm. I'm going to say back then.
I
but
guess,
I feel...
but I always thought I'd marry, but I didn't think I'd marry that early. You know, like I
sure.
always wanted to be a mum, but I didn't think I'd be married. You know, a mum within a year of having, you know.
But obviously, you were. It's a whirlwind. You're mad in love, and
It was exactly that. It was a whirlwind, and I was.
Was he older or the same age as you?
Huh?
Was
no,
he older?
George was 10 years older than me. So I was 23 and he was an established man.
Grown up.
You know, like you're a grown up.
Which is
you're
very
an
attractive
adult.
to a 23-year-old as well.
And in his
you know.
and in his sphere, you've got to think in that 80s of that time, that friends, they're people like Lynn Franks from the days of that, you know, the top notch, you know, people like Pam Hogg, Paul Smith.
He was a heavy hitter.
Heavy hitting in that, and then I just can't sort of come in there like I don't know what the fashion industry is like. I'm not an artist, I'm not creative. So I've learnt makeup, but I had a knack, but I don't have any formal training. So I assisted, and then I got into the business, and then at that time, as husband and wife, you're chatting and you're thinking, what should we do, bring over? So people think of Ruby and Millie, but me and him, George, we brought Aveda to this country. We launched Tweezerman, we launched L'Occitane. There was a magazine, there's all kinds of things we've done. So it's not just one thing. And slowly, the fashion business went by the by, and he says, Ruby, the margins on this are fantastic, because that's what he looks at, like, I'm not looking at just the margins. So he then transitioned into this beauty industry.
So you were the gateway drug, Ruby Hammer.
And you know what? If you sat here, I'd say, did you know of Aveda? No, you did not. Until you came to me.
You're welcome.
He didn't.
Well, there's always a successful, clever woman behind most successful, clever men.
But I always give credit where it's due. He is an entrepreneur, and he knows the money, and he knows the operational, and he knows that I'm an entrepreneur, but with a creative bent.
Yeah.
There's a heart, there's a feel, there's things I know in my sphere, and we were a fantastic unit.
It sounds like the perfect team.
It's a unit, it's a team.
Yeah.
And then we had a daughter, and she's the only child. It was fun. It was
Beauty
superb.
princess who's smashing it with her brand.
It was
in
brilliant.
Dude.
It was brilliant. So on all three fronts, I was pushing for my own as a makeup artist, Ruby Hammer. So I did
Forging.
all the things. He had this business, so you're at the sideline there. Plus, if you're a woman and you have children, you have to maintain a home and a unit. It's not like I didn't have a nanny. I had a live-in au pair girl, and my mum was alive at the time. My mum was a very young mum. So if I'm 25 and she was probably 40.
Oh.
Yeah.
42. So you have support. You function as a unit. So when divorce comes, it's not just what ruins
The
Yeah.
whole
people in
community
that.
gets busted.
So I'm going to ask a personal question. It sounds like the perfect marriage, the perfect
No
business
marriage
team.
is perfect.
Yes,
it
that's
sounds
true.
no marriage
was a
is
good
perfect.
setup.
It sounds
Sounds like
from
the
the
perfect
outside.
marriage.
What happened?
What
Was it a shock?
happened?
So, to all intents and purposes, everyone out there must have thought, what a solid unit we're doing, because it was. It really was. It wasn't like somebody held a shotgun to my head and said, marry this man. No disrespect, George, but he wasn't the frickin' good looking as this young man over here. It wasn't like that. He was always...
Shout
but it
out
was
to
his
Husky, our producer, who
personality,
is
it was
hot.
his aura, what you love, what you fall in love with, this, that. So, and I wasn't like after him for his money or anything like that. It wasn't that. It was a good, strong, solid marriage. Then, like anything else, like I travel, I go away, so it's not as though it's one party is at fault or not. I think over the years I was not a mature woman. I literally left my mum's home and went to my husband's home.
Yeah.
And then I had a child. So you function, you make that.
So many people. You never had the grown-up years by yourself. I never had that either.
I never
Did you have
flat shared.
it?
Well,
You had a year in Paris.
I didn't
Yeah.
I didn't live in somewhere else and do this and do that. I literally went from there to this
Yeah.
unit. I'd never slept with anybody else. He's my first person I slept with. He's the father of my child. He's my business partner. He's like everything.
Yeah.
So by the time I'm 30, maybe it was a crisis of me being 30 and thinking, is this it? 7-year itch, it could be. I don't know. So at 30, I had a mini crisis of my own because it's not everything is not all his fault. It's not.
Yes. Well, it never is.
We're
never
learning
is.
this. The more we talk to people, that there's a level of accountability that when a breakdown of a marriage, it's usually, it takes two to tango. And that's been really interesting.
Yes, there's
It
always
always
two
will,
sides to
Ate.
the coin.
It always will, because you can't pinpoint what brought those two together, and then there's different things of why that breaks down.
Yeah.
So I wasn't the same person
Yes.
when we were getting divorced. I was probably 42, 40 something. So I had become, I would have been
married
married
for
15
17
years.
Wow.
15 years by the time the dissolve, So it's a long time. So I have to say, I probably grew, and I wasn't the same person he married.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you just grow. But I thought we would get old together.
Me too.
It didn't even occur to me that we would never be together. And the reason for the marriage ending is actually because there was a third party. And there's no way there's no way
sugarcoating it.
that. Okay?
Yeah.
There's no sugarcoating it. And
Did you was it a shock?
quite
Did you find
it was
out?
a very, very, very big, shocking, and I took it as a huge betrayal because it was.
Could we caveat it wasn't you?
Huh?
You were not having you were
No,
there was
I
it
not
wasn't
the
it
one
wasn't
having
it wasn't
an
the third
affair.
party
It was
wasn't you.
himself, and it was with his PA, and she was the best friend of Millie Kendall, that we got the job for her from that. So there is, on many fronts, there are things that are there. The people who were there at that time, you all know who you are, and you all know what got hidden, and you all know what came out. So at the end of the day, I fought very hard to salvage my marriage, and I think if you spoke to George today, he would be shocked, because he would probably think, God, it was such a horrible time. And I think he realised then, but my wife really did love me. I fought.
Can I ask you? You would so the affair wasn't a deal breaker for you. You would have looked past it and tried to get it together.
I think the affair is the first crack, because it dents your confidence as a woman.
Yes.
It dents because it's the betrayal, because she was in our industry, she's work, and everybody else seemed to know, and I didn't.
And that's the sense of betrayal.
Is that humiliation on top of the betrayal?
Yeah.
And actually, it's not her fault. I remember, and that wasn't the first one. Okay. In that, it was somebody else, and then in coming out, that woman told me, well, I don't know why you're talking to me about it, because he's obviously got somebody else. And in that dig out is what things come out, and when the wash comes out. And in the end, it's like, look, if you don't have sex with someone for years on end, it is a partnership. So he was telling me, well, we didn't. And I was like, yeah, well, I didn't go around sleeping with someone either. So if you're frustrated, so must I have been. All right? It's not just you, oh, I didn't have sex. Was I going around and sleeping with 10 men? No. So I must have been frustrated too. The deep down is, that's one aspect. But what it does is it brings everything out in the wash. When you weigh that up, is when you slowly realise that this is now. Did you just think that would be all right? That you just think, shut up, Ruby, don't make me feel bad, and we'll all be back to square one. Which if I had done, we would be. I'd still be married to George. But I'm not that sort of person. I do dig and I open and I want to say, where was I wrong? Where were you that? And I never did that to you. Did I really deserve that? And it's complicated then. It's fantastic when you're first married, because your finances and your working way and all that is all in. But when you've got to unravel all those bits, which I'm sure is a little bit like what Ate's had to face, It brings different things. I'd never had an accountant. They were his. I'd never had a lawyer. They were
Yes.
his.
Adulting.
I'd never had this. I never had
We're
that.
old school as well. And also, I have to say, culturally, that is the man's job. Did you have a sense of that?
No, it wasn't that cultural thing, because it was like that for my mum and dad,
Yeah.
because my father was that, but it wasn't like that for us. It was just that he was the most capable about that.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I didn't know, like he was
His
doing...
big personality, he took that on.
It was like he knew how all that is run businesses his entire life. So you just say, okay, this is, and then you have to think, shit, I've got to go and find a lawyer, because I thought, when you first get that letter, because he gave me the letter.
Oh, so who pushed the button on the divorce?
He did.
So-
were you expecting that?
So that when you say it all came out in the wash, the water that comes up is now seemingly quite muddy
Dirty.
and dirty.
It's muddy and dirty,
And you're like,
and it always will be,
Yeah.
because it's high emotions. You've got your child. There's all of that. So he'd already.
How old was your daughter when this all kicked off?
She would have been coming up to big school. So was she like 11? 11. So, that
that's
was her
painful.
big going to make the transition from school to
like
go
the-
to secondary
like
school.
The
one
worst
of the
time.
most
It's
painful
a bad
ages.
time. It's a bad time. But what I'm saying is, it brings. So he moved out because he was seeing that person, and I couldn't stand him. So get out the house. Well, you can't. You
Fair
can't.
enough.
You
Yeah,
can't do it.
no.
So get out the house and. Get out of the house, and he already had an apartment. So you got to negotiate all kinds of things, and I'm not saying it's not horrible for him. It must have been brutally horrible for him. It was horrible for me, but it must have been the same for him. But I don't think he understood that I could understand is bad for him. When
Yeah.
you're just
Yeah.
shouting daggers at anyone, he's just thinking, God, she's just out to kill me.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I'm doing this not because I'm a horrible monster, but I'm in pain, and you're lashing out. You're lashing,
Yeah.
lash. I've done some terrible things. I've
Give it
said
to us.
some terrible
Give us
things.
your best. Waiting to exhale. Blow up the car. Blow up. Did you go full 80s and like rip up suits? What was
Listen,
What was the worst you've done?
I'm not proud of those moments.
Did you
but
do it? I can feel that.
No. There's two I will say.
Off air.
One was because you've got to think this is in the time of when Ruby and Millie were starting as well. So we had to go to Nottingham quite a lot.
Boots of
And he was
paper.
the third partner. He was our third partner. It was called Graham Corporation, Ruby, Millie and George.
Oh my
And,
goodness.
we were in business. So at that time, I couldn't stand to be in the same room with him. I can't stand to breathe the same air. I did like, get that fucker out of my face. But you're on a train journey. You're going to do something. And he said something, and we were in the queue to get the taxi to go to D98, whatever it is another 20-minute car ride. And he must have said something, and then it's not even what he said. He was never rude. He's never taken a hand to me. I want people to know that however this is, he was not a violent man. He
They could
did
just breathe funny, and when you're in that place, you want to just kick off. He could have just looked at you or breathed weird, and you would have
he
kicked
did.
off.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's not like he's a violent wife beater. He's sexually assaulted me. He's this, he's that. He's none of those. And
Decent man.
And George is a good dad. Okay,
Yeah.
so he needs to know those things. But he was standing there, and the way he said something, and he turned around, and he just looked at me, and it was a shitty, smug-looking thing. And I thought, I'm going to take that smile off your face. I just went slap. And Millie was there. So, Ruby! We're in Nottingham. They know us here. I can hear her voice. I'm grateful to her because
We do not
God knows
condone
what I
violence.
would have done.
But yes,
But it was like that.
It
And
was
I had
bad.
to sort of get back myself like, fuck, what did I just do?
you're in the streets of Nottingham. We're known here. Hooty hoo.
No, it's not even in the streets. It's in the queue where people kind of know. And she said, Ruby. And you know what? I shouldn't have behaved like that, but I couldn't help it. I
Yeah.
did. And there was another time, which is actually, Rena had got into school, and as a family, we
Rena's
were
your
meant
daughter?
to. Rena's my
Yeah,
daughter,
yeah.
our daughter. We go to a celebratory dinner, okay? And there's been loads of scenes like that before. You scream and shout and do that, but you do that in your home. You smash a few things. I've done many smashing. Many things, okay? But
Ruby
it's not
Hammer
loves that.
outside.
You're
It's
a
not
smasher.
outside.
Yeah.
Didn't wash the dirty laundry.
If you
okay?
could see the
That's
way
all
Husky's looking at you,
internal.
Ruby, quite frankly, you're his new
We're
hero.
at dinner. We're all at dinner.
He's like, spicy.
We're at dinner. And, you know, there's the three of us and it's a pasta place, very nice, near where we lived, and it's meant to be a nice dinner for Rena's sake. Again, it's one of those things. I don't know what triggered it. I only wish I knew. I don't know, but it was something like that. And there was a wine glass, and I just threw the wine glass at him.
Oh my God, Ruby Hammer MBE.
Red wine, I hope.
Everyone doesn't know that about me, do they? They think
You know
I'm,
what I said to Buzzy? There is Ruby Hammer MBE, and then there's Ruby Hammer Rat-a-tat-tat, and I love them both.
I am both.
Yeah.
Okay, I am both. I've never
Rat-a-tat-tat.
pretended to be one or t'other. I'm not.
You
But that's it, is that we're human, like
So
you
I
said.
threw this glass of wine in his face, and he's sitting there with all the wine over him, and he's still giving me that look.
Oh.
And the
So the
worst,
pasta went.
He didn't learn. He didn't learn.
just the wine went.
Right. Is
And
this
the
that?
way I
Yeah.
smashed the glass down,
It broke.
the glass broke and cut my hand. My hand.
That's what happens. Anger. It's
But
you harm
unbeknown
yourself.
to me, Rena's godfather and godmother, Tony McGee and Sandy McGee, came to the restaurant. But they come at a point where all they can see is George's face has got red on it.
And you're bleeding.
And they don't know that I'm bleeding because I went like that and I said, well, if you want to do it, I'll just do it all over your face then.
You
And
smeared your blood
I
on it?
smeared the blood on his face. But they look at it and they think I've smashed something on his head. I have took to him with a glass. He didn't point that out, that no, she hasn't done it actually, it's her that's hurt.
It's a red wine.
But then they like come in and we take Rena home. And, you know, I'm grateful to them forever. They took Rena home with them.
Yeah. They took her
And
out.
my mum came to get me.
You
Right?
know,
But what I'm
yeah.
saying is, do you see the perspective?
Yeah.
He didn't clarify to them. She didn't try to ace me with the glass. The split is actually, I've got it here, it's her hand. But when somebody read it from the outside, I had to go the next day. It's embarrassing because nobody had ever seen me like that. It's embarrassing. It chokes me now. To go and ring their doorbell and say, I'm very grateful you took Rena in. I really apologise. That will never happen again because
You
when
are
my mum came to get
human.
me, she just said, I have not raised you. Whatever he's done or not done, I didn't raise you to behave like that. What sort of behaviour is that? You do not conduct yourself in public like that. And my mum said one thing. She said, how dare you? She said, how dare you? You die, George will step over your body and carry on with his life. But you are my child. I'm the only daughter. I have two brothers. You are my child and you have a child. So think about how you behave from now on. And no other incident like that has happened.
Your mummy has just mummied all of us, quite frankly. God bless her
No other
soul.
incident like that has happened.
But-
all the hurt was there, the pain was there. It came out a different way, not like that. But those are the two things that I'm probably ashamed of my own conduct. But then now I rationalise it to say, well, I was sick and hurt, and that's the way.
Can I just
That's
say,
what it was.
first of all, thank you so much for being so honest and open. We have, there is nothing as painful as having your guts and soul and heart ripped out with divorce. Like, this is probably one of the most horrific things I've ever been through, you've been through. It's a very horrible club you don't want to belong to. And I really appreciate you being so open and honest. And there's so much shame and anger and guilt. And for you to elevate out of that quite early on, that's actually really impressive.
I don't know how quite early on, because I think you hold it forever in some ways.
Yeah.
But it's like a grief. Like, I've lost my mum now. I've lost both my parents. My mum's death was 13 years ago. My father's one is 20-something years ago. That pain never goes, but what it is you learn to live with it and you conduct yourself a different way. So that will always be, no one asks you that. They always ask you what your successes are and whatever. But somewhere in my head, I will always think, I failed. I failed at my marriage.
Yeah.
Not blaming who it is or what it is. The kind of person I am, I like to build things. So that's my failure. The good thing beside it is, I got married in divorced 2004. I met somebody else. I was with him 6 years. We've been married. Our anniversary is coming out, which will be our 15 year. So now I'll have been with Martin, my second husband, way longer than I was with my first marriage. So now you see that there is light at the end of the tunnel. There is all kinds of things, but now I think I'm not a failure in relationships. I'm not a failure in marriages, but that is still my personal failure.
Yes,
I take it as a failure.
Especially as a woman who is in a situation where there's a third party involved. It's hard not to take it personally and make it.
And I did, because it affected me, my confidence, my level of sexuality myself, because I thought I must have been a lousy lay. That's why the man's straight.
Never Ruby Hammer.
Because you didn't have that much experience. You didn't have this, you didn't that. Then I have to think like, well, why did he hang around for 15 years then if you're such a shitty lay? Whatever. I'm just saying,
Husky
it attacks
Husky
you.
will check that out for you.
You're physically. And then everyone goes on about the industry we're in, because I am seen as quite confident and quite that, but I've always been transparent in my work, in my this, in my that, and coming through, possibly, Ruby and Millie was going on at that time, and my daughter wasn't a baby, and I had the support of my family, and I swear to God, the colleagues my friends in the industry, the people I shot with on a day-to-day basis, the models, the hairdressers, the stylists, the photographers, the trips I've done, my clients, they bolstered me, they helped me. So my immediate family and them. And they gave you a sense of, I must have done something with people over the years, because I'd never been vulnerable before. I'd never needed support before, and here they gave it to me in an abundance. And everyone then said, well, you've been there for us, Ruby.
You're a good person.
I knew then it's okay to take from them now, because
it's your time of need.
I needed it.
Yeah.
And I'm saying to other women who are going to go through this, you're going to need it. Don't be so proud. Take it, and remember that, and give it to other people when they need it. Because there is something in life's grace where it's not tit for tat. I give you 5 pence and I'll get 5 pence back. Play it forward, because you don't know where that's going to go. And you will be shocking. People you expect to give you the support give you zero.
Yes, we've encountered
Zero,
this.
darling.
Can we talk
people
about that?
People you think are going to be there, whether it's family or friends or colleagues or whatever the hell it is. And people you don't expect it from, in abundance. It comes from a stranger. It comes from things.
Did you get the shock? Did you have the big D shock of people you thought would have your back didn't have your back? So you had that as well.
It is, but by then I'm also not young. You kind of, after that lecture of my mum, I kind of knew that, okay, you're going to have to work this a certain way. Not everyone's going to take that news, because they're still in business with George. They're his staff, they're his this, there's many. Some
layers.
friends will choose him, some friends came with me. Whatever it is this life is not, it's not modular, it's not easy. So you just have to navigate that best as you can.
You've been so open with us about that awful period. And then of course you get divorced. How you have this terrible incident in the restaurant, and your mother basically gives you a metaphorical...
No, she just gave me a good hold my shoulder up and give me a good going.
She gave me a shake.
She gave me a shake up.
And then how do you put yourself back together? How did you do that?
Day by day. There's no magic. There's no love of my mum, my parents, my brothers, and my daughter in her own way. Must have been tough for her, because I made it very uncomfortable for her, because I couldn't hide my pain. And George made it very easy to not put the mirror up in front of her. So it's that.
Yeah.
But you have to have somebody, my friends that are there, and they know exactly who they are. How many photographers on a journey somewhere must have bored them shitless?
Talking about your divorce story and
Do you know what? They had to endure.
in Iceland or something.
And God bless them for sitting there and listening. And they did. So it's by day and inch by inch. But also, you have to... Yes, there were days where I haven't slept all night. I've just been crying. I didn't eat. I didn't sleep. I was less than 5 and a bit stones. I was always thin my entire life. I looked like a Belson victim. I was like that because you're there. But you shower and you go to work. So if you had something to do, and I had on the other side is I had the Ruby Millie contract. So hello, that's illegal. I'm bound to do
you
something.
have to work.
So while you're doing it, it takes your mind off it. Something.
And
Can I ask
go ahead.
Can I ask a question? So this is something a lot of people are dealing with. You have a business partnership. You are a team. When your marriage goes, how do you keep it together for the work and the business? And I know that's something you relate to. I had a production case.
Conducting yourself professionally.
Yeah.
But
Well, you're
also
still entwined with them financially in a business. It's like Ruby, Millie, and George. Like,
okay, so
how do you be professional?
There were two things. So it was very in cost, but the first thing for me is I wasn't in there for the money or whatever. So I said to him two things. I wasn't in, it wasn't all discussion about alimony and this and that. It wasn't that. It was just to say, do you believe this daughter is your flesh and blood? And he's looking at me and going, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, do you believe she's your child? If you don't, go and do a DNA, so you've proved 100%. Are you in any doubt she's your child? He went, of course she is. And I went, okay. So then I need you to pay her school fees because all my life I've been freelance. So money comes, money goes. I hadn't, So I don't know if I'm working mode or he's going to give me a job. I'm a basket case. Pay her school fees because Rena shouldn't, and pay her medical insurance. You don't have to pay for me. You don't have to look after me.
Oh, you're one of those. You were like, okay, just pay for the baby
He knows
and I'll be
didn't
okay.
No. Okay? No. Afterwards, when you have to settle the financial, me as a makeup artist, nothing to do with him in that way. So that's invoiced separately with your agent, whatever. The other part of the business, whether the Evader or whatever, well, it came up because we had a holding company, sub-companies, all that. In that, when Estee Lauder acquired Aveda, when they acquired it, because we were a distributor for it, so they do their due diligence, Ernst and Cooper, Ernst and Young or whatever, huge big things. So in that discerning is when they say, excuse me, Mr. Hammer, Ruby, in Hammer Holdings, she's a shareholder. She's not just a company secretary that you can dismiss. I'm 50% shareholder. And in that one, they were going to keep him on as a MD or whatever they chose their relationship. I wasn't privy to that. So I wasn't this person that wanted a monthly, weekly alimony to look after. I looked after my daughter myself. She still lived at home and whatever. He looked after her. He paid for her school fees. He paid for her medical insurance and probably the mortgage that was going on. Everything else I fed myself. I didn't ask him for a penny. But I knew I wanted a one-off because I didn't want this because I couldn't stand looking at him. I couldn't bear being with him. I couldn't do the 3 months alimony comes in, then I got a ring.
And it's control, and it's drip,
and not whether he was trying to do it deliberately or not deliberately. I just couldn't stand that. So in the end, this sale gave us a lump sum, which is when I got my settlement.
And you were happy with it?
One go. I paid my capital gains tax on it, and then I was able to buy my flat with no mortgage. And that's it. And it was a once and only done.
And then you're off.
But he knew
away.
I didn't want the money from him. This is a few years later, so it's not like immediately it's done. And he knew, and that's where some divorces, some things are awful because the father of the child abandons the child as well.
Yeah.
When that happens, it's a different thing, okay?
And that's where the resentment
I
hits.
always was aware, however much, and I've been horrible to George, I was always aware he's Rena's dad.
Yeah.
I cannot use Rena as a weapon against him because that is not for the well-being of my child. I never did that. He should know that. He has a fabulous relationship with his daughter, and I take some credit for that.
You never were mean and were like, your dad this and your dad that and your dad
She
this.
heard it
Yeah.
because I'm talking to my mum, and it's not like she didn't hear it. I'm not going to
Yeah.
pretend that. I'm not a liar. She heard it, but it's not like to hold it. It's like I say, you can't hide your hurt. They're privy to it. They're privy to it. But it wasn't like to say, you're not going to see your dad. That's it.
Yeah.
You never
didn't
weaponized it. Yeah, you never weaponized.
You're never going to see your dad until he pays this, and then you can have that. No.
Yeah.
He came every morning, and he took her to school because it was walking distance. The only
We
thing
went
I
to the
didn't
same school.
like, the only thing I didn't like is he would let himself into the flat. And one day I thought, I've had enough of this. And I said, George, can you give me all the keys to the flat? Because you've got an apartment somewhere else. Can I just walk in there?
No.
So you need me. I will never stop you meeting Rena, looking after her, or being her dad. But you can't barge in here. I live here. You got to ring the doorbell, and then when I let you in, you then take Rena. He did everything. He went on holiday with her. He did many, many things. Why should she be deprived of her dad?
Yeah.
Because I can't stand him.
That's good.
Can I ask, how are things with you and George now?
So today, is 38. Rena's fine. We are fine. We're okay. It wasn't good for many years. It wasn't good for many years.
Between who and who? You
Huh?
Between you and George?
Yeah. I didn't really. I made it that I didn't have to see him.
Yeah.
Why do I
Yeah.
need to see you? That's why I wanted the one-off financial thing done. Then I do not have to meet you for anything.
Yeah.
And when that was signed and done and dusted, I said two things to him. I said, one thing is, whenever anything, day, night, whatever it is, it's about Rena, I'm available. I am available. If you ring about anything else, you want to pick my thing, you want to brainstorm with, you want to do that, you want to do that. Sometimes he would ring. He goes, yeah, right, I just want to ask about that. And I said, what's this got to do with Rena? And he goes, oh, I was just thinking, and I said, I'm going to hang out now.
Oh my goodness.
You lost that privilege, George.
Boundaries. So B for boundaries.
I did my boundary because it's the only way I could salvage and survive.
Yeah.
Was
If
it
you-
for your dignity? Was it for your mental health? Was it for
It was
you?
for all of it. It was for my dignity, for my pride, my self-respect that hit rock bottom. I've pleaded with him, don't leave this marriage. There's no dignity there. You've hit rock bottom, and then before the divorce, some clarity came to me because he did come home. I'm still in two minds thinking, did you come home to salvage a marriage, or did you come home to sweet deal the Estee Lauder deal? I don't know. I don't know, love. I don't know. Okay?
I love rat-a-tat-tat, Ruby Hammer. I love rat-a-tat-tat, Ruby Hammer.
He came
But-
at a point and I had to think. He probably weighed the same as my mum. So many a night I've fallen asleep on my marital bed, and, he used to sleep on my right side. My mum came and slept on my right side. So the weight of the bed feels the same as the weight of him. And this one night, I don't know what happened to me. I woke up and I thought it's my mum, but it wasn't. It was actually George, for the little patch-up time he was sleeping there. And I turned and I looked, and he does snore. His wife knows he snores. His present wife knows he snores. So he's snoring there. And I thought, I'm not going to wake him up. I got up and I thought, God, it's like 3 a.m. I can't go and knock on my mum's doorstep. She was in walking distance. And I sort of wandered around the perimeter, Regent's Park, because we lived near Baker Street at the time. Don't know where. I saw sunrise. I came back. And I realised, no, we're going. This marriage is not salvageable. We're trying to patch it up,
For the wrong
but
reason.
it will take too much from me to pretend my dignity, my self-respect, who I am. You didn't understand, and it's not just the adultery. Everyone think that's the trigger, but it's not the reason we're not married anymore. Because things came out of it that I realise I don't make you happy. You deserve your happiness, George. And that doesn't seem to be with me. So I have to rise, and I can't just keep you here because you're Rena's dad or you're going to pay the bills. You deserve that, and so do I. I didn't know whether I was going to find it or not, but it's no point having a miserable unit for what? Saving grace, what people are going to say, what people are going to do. There has to be some frigging joy in this life.
Yeah.
Okay? He deserved that. So
You
did I.
deserve that.
I don't know when I was going to get it, but it didn't matter.
But you have it now.
I have it now, but it's also, do people it's a certain courage. And I realised I didn't have my dignity, my this, my that. But it wasn't my parents telling me you should get divorced, my brother telling me this, mother. Everyone in my family said, whatever way you decide, we are here for you. So you have to have the bottle. And no one told me that but me. I thought, no, I'll probably never trust him. Then I'll say something out of the way and he probably wouldn't be at fault, or he might be at fault. I don't know. But is that a way to carry on for the rest of your life? Pinching, digging, ducking, suspicious. I'd never looked in his wallet. I'd never looked at a phone bill. I'd never poked at anything of his. You're going to live like that for the rest of your life with somebody that you don't trust. No. You don't like someone, you don't respect them, and you don't trust them. How can you leave a marriage?
Yeah.
Amen, Ruby Hammer.
Now I get on fine with George because he's still the funny George. He's still George that gets us in work and business. He gets it. When I pitched, when I was doing Ruby Hammer, one day I was in hospital, Rena was having a thing before she was getting married, and I did a pitch to him and he went, this is blinding, Ruby, this is not. So it's good. We have that still.
The other side, so, we're still in the trenches. I think we're climbing up the hill and we're getting on the top of the hill to the other side of...
You will get to the other side.
Like, what's it we call it? We're not disconnected, we're more disengaged. We don't...
Yes.
It doesn't get under our skin in the same
We
way.
go through the disconnect.
So you and I, we were one and done. And that's very rare in these days.
Yeah.
I married my first boyfriend. He was my first lover. And...
I mean, George wasn't my first boyfriend, but I'd never had a relationship with him in that way. So with anyone before him.
What was dating like for you after that? What was dating like after that?
To be brutally honest, I didn't want to date anybody. I just wasn't in that zone. But everybody would say, you've got to go out, so and so. Things come out of the woodwork though. Some photographers that make you, God,
they've been
always
loving
had
you.
a soft spot for you. They've always had this, but I was always married. I flirted with everybody. I got on men, women. I am a natural born flirt. I am, but I'm not a cock tease. I wasn't that. So that you're going to flirt with me and then I'm going to imply something and then I'm going to withhold. I was never that.
And how did you meet your
present husband? So I'd had a boyfriend in between and it was probably on the rebound and he was a lovely man. It was great, but I just knew this isn't going to be forever. And he's a young man and no.
How old was he?
Probably just a bit younger than me, more similar.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is I kind of knew that, yes, I love him, I care about him, but I'm not going to be married to you, so what am I doing? He proposed. They all proposed for some reason to me.
Because you're Ruby Hammer MBE, most beautiful, fun, vivacious woman in the world. Why are you saying it like it's...
That. So
I don't know, they all propose. I can see why. Oh, I get dick pics, you get proposals.
I didn't date that much, but I had one that was a long distance one. He was an American gentleman, and you know what? He could have been the one. But it didn't work out for whatever reason. So it's where I never automatically think another person is going to make you fulfill your life. I didn't even have that as a teenager because otherwise you wouldn't get to 23 before you sleep with someone. I didn't give in to peer pressure in that way. I had a laugh. I had boyfriends. I went out. I didn't drink much. In those days. Coca-Cola, whatever. I probably drank more after doing my divorce once than ever in my entire life. And now I'm gone back to how I was. I have the odd drink, I have the thing, not like that.
So Martin, who's super handsome, you were the poster child for post-divorce, Buzzy has started to call her ex-husband her first husband now, which makes me laugh. Start a husband's first husband.
Yes,
because there will be others probably.
I like that.
How did you have a second husband?
Again, it's like you meet, it's not like I was husband hunting
Yes.
or boyfriend hunting or any hunting.
If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't,
there was
you're
no
also
hunting
happy.
going on. But I also know, and I need to say that to women out there, there will be days where you just cannot be bothered. But if you can, do shower, do put your makeup on, and do go out to that dinner or that film or that, because you don't know. So you must make that, not because you're hunting, but just for yourself.
Be in the world.
Do that. So I'd been on holiday to Antigua, and I took my daughter, and
lived in Antigua for years. So you can't make it
was
up.
a holiday, and George was 10 years older than me, and Martin is 11 years younger than me. So when I met him, it wasn't anything. It was nothing. It wasn't like, oh my God, I've got to. It wasn't like that. He was very professional, but I don't know. There must have been some connections. We came back to London, and because everywhere I went, I took my daughter, and it was at one stage where I went to Miami on a shoot. Straight after that Antigua job, I had a big job in Miami. And when I went to the hotel, and it was a Raleigh hotel, and there was a flower and then a whole thing. So I'd done, and it's those days of no mobile phone, no nothing. So you have to ring the reception and say, can I have a wake-up call? And another one 5 minutes later, because they also screw up. And then I put my alarm clock on, and then I kind of looked at the bedside table, and there was a card. And it was a card for Martin, with a flower for Martin. I just assumed it was the hotel giving you, because when you've come back, welcome back, Miss whatever, because I've been at the Raleigh so many times, I thought it was one of those. And it said, this is for you and you only. Because I honestly thought he's a young man, and my daughter was 17 at the time.
You thought he was after Rina?
I thought he probably likes her. She's been nice to me because I'm the mum.
Oh my goodness.
So from day one, Martin and Rina know each other, and they get on.
Sweet.
But I just thought, oh God, he probably likes her. She's been nice to me. It didn't occur to me that
he wanted
could
you.
be interested in me. And it was never funny like that. She
cry.
always got on with him. He's her mate. There's many things. He comes from a divorced family. I don't. My parents were still together until they buried each other, whatever. So he has helped me navigate my life with Rena post-divorce as well. Just to be able to say, you don't know what it's like when your parents have split up. I do. And he gave me that insight. And he was just slowly, until you realise, it was my mum saying to me, look, he was, again, another one. He's proposed twice in that time, in the 6 years I'd known him. And I was just thinking, I don't have a biological clock ticking away. I've got her. Do I have to get married again? Because that was such a brutal process. I don't want to go through this again. But you realise, my mum, again, she just said, do you love him? And I was like, yeah, I guess I do. She says, on paper, your first marriage should have worked out. Successful businessman, older than you, blah, 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 blah. Did it? No. So, you know what? I wouldn't look at that. If your family here, we love Martin. We think he's a good, decent man. And when he had proposed proper, he had gone. My father was still alive, barely, but he was alive. He'd asked my brothers there. I didn't know this. He'd asked Rena. He called a meeting. He had Rena, my two brothers, my mum, my dad, not all there because he had Parkinson's, the tail end of it. And he asked permission, and he asked me and all that. And my mum said, nothing is written in stone. It's not a textbook. You're going to still have to go through all the things you went through for the first time, and all the things. You can't blame the things that go wrong and blame it on this man, because he's not the one that did those things to you. She's very wise, because she said, because you're going to have fights, you're going to have battle, it doesn't mean you're going to leave, because we're both fiery. Me and George was a Libra, so there's air and fire, and me and Martin are fire. There was plenty of fire. But we did truly love each other, and the age didn't seem to matter.
Yeah.
The only time it did matter is, you know what, we are not able to have children of our own. I have a grandson now, and in a funny, strange way, vicariously, that's where I see, my God, Martin would have been a phenomenal dad. But we have that. And he
He's a
looks at
grandpa.
Rihanna.
He's a step-grandpa.
He's Nonno Martin, like Nonno and I'm Nani. So there are things, and that doesn't mean you're never going to have a fight and you never come near. You come near to ending, but when you've navigated the course, you know what is negotiable and what is not. And every time it takes compromise from both parties.
Yeah.
It takes maturity, because sometimes Martin was like that, and I'm like, oi, little one, oi, young man. There are
Settle
some things,
down.
yeah, settle down, like whatever. And that's why in my life now, it's important to me. You've learned what it takes to stay married. You learn what it takes to the unit of a family, because it's not just the couple. It's a bit of everything. And also work.
Yeah.
I probably took George for granted because I just thought we'd be together. So I did my work and he did the same.
Yeah.
And you realise, no, you're going to have to give attention
Yeah.
And
to the
water
little
plant.
things, big things.
Ruby, it has been absolutely magnificent to
Has
have
it been
you.
an hour like that?
Yes! We've been chatting.
It's been. I really felt it's been amazing because both of us have been really silent, just listening to you.
Which never
Listening to-
happens,
I'm
Ruby.
really sorry.
No, because
Ruby,
normally
we usually are like, blah, blah, blah. It's because
It's-
you're just spitting words
you
of
could hear
wisdom,
a pin drop.
And I want to say one thing, because there will be people listening out there on a professional sphere
Yeah.
as well. And I want them to know that to say, look, I was at rock bottom and I still performed as a professional, my
That
working
helps you.
life on a shoot,
Helps
for
you.
the retailer, for Boots and whatever. Now I'm seeking that next level of whatever in work. I'd love to be in Liberties and Marks and Spencer and Boots and Space NK and Sephora and whatever.
Manifest,
I
queen.
Hear
don't
it
want
here.
them to think when they listen to, oh, she's a freaking basket case. No, I feel like saying to them, I delivered then. I am now armoured. Imagine I have 20 years experience. What could I do for you now? To your customer who is my age, who's going through what we've gone through. What would I not offer? Not just the makeup brush, the human being.
Yeah.
You're getting a better human being than I was then. Please don't shy away from me, you big brands out there.
You know what? As well as manifesting and showing the world how fabulous you are in every single way.
I don't think I am, but
I
I'll
adore
take
you.
it with
We do.
grace.
We
Thank
do.
you. Thank you.
We adore you. I know all our listeners are going to get so much comfort, wisdom, and also God bless your mummy and daddy, because of the life lessons they've given you, you're sharing, and that's their legacy living on. So thank you so
And
much.
that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
It's a horrible journey, and anything that helps you get through that journey, and you can only do it by being brutally honest. And I promise you, you will come out the other end.
Ruby Hammer MBE!
Thank
you!
And that's it for another session of The Big D with me, Buzzy Randall, and
Ate Jewel.
And this week we have been lucky enough to have on the most incredible Ruby Hammer MBE. Check it out.
If you haven't loved this episode as much as us, Buzzy and I were just saying we haven't spoken in this episode because you could hear a pin drop. It has been so phenomenal and really healing. Ruby's laughing. Please follow, like, subscribe. The Big D with Ate and Buzzy. It has been a healing journey doing this, and thank you so much for all your love. See you next week. This has been amazing.
Bye.